Welcome to the Tuesday, April 15th, 2014 Village of Peoria Heights Board of Trustees meeting. Meeting is now called to order. Would you please rise and join us in the pledge of the flag? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn. Trustee Carter.
Present.
Trustee Fuller.
Present.
Trustee Reichert.
Present.
Trustee Gett.
Present.
Trustee Cumming.
Thank you very much. Trustee Harn was called out of town on business. He had to go to Chicago last minute, and I believe that Trustee Cumming is probably working on taxes right now for his clients, seeing what day it is. And then Administrator Fick already had a prearranged vacation, so hopefully he's getting good weather down in Florida. Our first order of business tonight is the approval of the Board of Trustees minutes for the April 1st, 2014 meeting. Are there any changes that need to be made to the minutes as submitted?
I move to approve.
Have a motion from Trustee Gett,
Second.
second from Trustee Carter. All those in favor of approving the Board of Trustees minutes for April 1st, 2014 as submitted, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. Thank you. The ayes have it. The board has approved the Board of Trustees minutes for April 1st as submitted. Next order of business tonight is the approval of the public hearing minutes for April 1st as well. Are there any changes that need to be made to these minutes as submitted? Need a motion for approval?
So move.
Have a motion from Trustee Gett,
Second.
second from Trustee Reichert. All those in favor of approving the Board of Trustees minutes for the public hearing of April 1st, 2014 as submitted by our village clerk, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. Thank you. The ayes have it, and the board has approved the public hearing minutes for April 1st, 2014 as submitted. Next up is correspondence, and that will be presented by our village clerk, Shauna Musselman.
I have no correspondence this evening.
Okay, thank you. Bear with me, I do have a note in my wallet that was given to me by my neighbor, and I promised her I would read it. I'm lucky I remembered it. Yeah, I would have had a very frosty reception the next time I ran into her. My neighbor, her husband was in the service during World War II, and she receives help from the Fuller Center, which is a veterans group, and they do projects and help for the veterans. And they're having a flapjack fundraiser. It's to support the Illinois Valley Fuller Center for Housing's Veterans Home Repair Projects. It's going to be at Applebee's on Willow Knolls in Peoria, Saturday, May 3rd, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. And if you have any questions, call 309-363-3737. It's a $5 ticket, which includes pancakes, bacon, and a beverage. So it's for a great cause, and I'm sure it's going to be good food, too. So again, if you plan on going, it's Saturday, May 3rd, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. at Applebee's on Willow Knolls. $5 ticket, and if you have any questions, call 309-363-3737. Okay, we'll move on to trustee reports, and first will be the ambulance service with Trustee Fuller.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. I have the monthly review for the month of March. In March, we had 75 total calls, 67 of which were medical calls, and we responded to 8 fire calls. So, thank you, Mayor Allen.
Okay. Thank you, Trustee Fuller. Any questions at all for Trustee Fuller? All right, thanks again. Public Works, Trustee Harn obviously is not here. Mr. Director, do you have any information or tidbits of wisdom for the people?
I would just remind folks about the hydrant flushing that will be starting next week. And for details on the schedule, you can see our website.
Okay. Thank you very much. We will move now to administration personnel with Trustee Reichert.
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing.
Okay, thank you. Go to economic development, village improvements with Trustee Carter.
Thank you. I have nothing at this time.
Right, thank you very much. Trustee Cummings not here tonight for the police department, but Chief Sutton, do you have anything? Any information?
The only thing I have, Mayor, is a reminder that April 28th is the next Neighborhood Watch meeting here at Village Hall at 6:30. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll go to building maintenance with Trustee Gett.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. I have nothing to report at this time.
All right, thank you, and we'll close out with the fire department, Trustee Gett.
Second verse.
Same as the first. All right, well, thanks to everyone. Next up is comments from the audience. If anybody in the audience has a comment, please come up to the village lectern and give us your name, address. Okay.
My name, can you hear me? I talk quiet. My name is Christine Gaspard. My husband and I own the soccer center at 412 East Moneta. I would like to give you some pictures to take a look at, well, so you understand my discussion. Is that possible?
Sure.
Can I give them to you? I'm here tonight to discuss the business that is directly across the street from us. We have been there since 1979. We have a soccer facility where we bring in approximately 90 kids each day, come to our facility. We run October through April. We run 13 hours of games on Sundays and Saturdays. A lot of people come into the community, spend money from McDonald's and Starbucks all the way down to Leaves and Beans. This has been a nightmare of a problem. I'm sure you're probably all fairly familiar with it. The people who own this business, I know that it has been zoned light industrial, but what they are basically operating is a junkyard and chop shop. Our clientele are moms, grandmas, ladies coming in at different times with just their kids. There's shady people coming at all times of the day and night. The neighbors, I've talked to neighbors, and they've said that they hear blowtorches and cutting materials going at 1, 3 o'clock in the morning. They are masters at, I've called the police station multiple times. I've also spoke with Mr. Walmsley. And I feel like we are being a pain, but this is creating very uncomfortable conditions for the people who come into our facility, not to mention that parking is a nightmare, snow removal is a nightmare. They perceived a real feeling of not being safe is very real to the people that come to our facility. I really don't know what our options are. I feel like I've kind of been told we're working on it, something's going to happen. The police officers come down, it disappears for 2, 3, 4 days. They have cars out there. There'll be one point, there was 5 tow trucks parked in front of my building. Another time, 3 tow trucks, 2 Suburbans with flatbeds with cars that look like people had been killed on them, parked in front of my building. There is one picture where they had a flatbed that is 2 feet over my driveway, and our people cannot even get into our own parking lot. I'm not sure what the remedy is. There is, Williams Brothers is right next to us. They keep a very clean, nice, orderly yard. That's not a big deal. These people are horrible neighbors. They also own another property on the same block that is constantly full of cars that are junk cars, huge pieces of equipment. They fill the street. It's not even just in front of our building, but it's the entire length of the block that they take over. I'm not accustomed to speaking, as you can tell my voice is shaking, nor complaining. We have tried to work with them. I believe that the father in his initial business was a legitimate business. I think he has fallen ill, and the younger sons have just run roughshod over what is going on over there. I started talking to Mr. Walmsley in October, Right now, they have seen me down there taking pictures. I went 2 days and took pictures. I mean, I could do it every day of the week. So right now, there's nothing hardly out there. And I think they know, they're like, it's like a circus act. We move these cars in, these cars out. There's boats, there's motorhomes, there's old beat-up little camper things, there's cars cut in half. That just doesn't seem light industrial to me, nor does it seem to be in the spirit of being a good neighbor. And I don't, my husband built this building, and it is a mecca for soccer, which I don't know if anybody is even interested in that, but it's a wonderful facility. We have recently purchased land in Washington, and if this situation becomes to where our people don't feel comfortable coming to our facility here, we can move out to Washington. We pay a significant tax bill. Like I said, I manage the flower shop on Prospect. I know for a fact I have 6, 7 people a week come in directly from the soccer center, come down there. I know that they're hitting the other businesses in the area also. We have groups of Caterpillar executives, Maui Gym executives, professors from Bradley who come in and rent at 11 o'clock at night. And they're coming into a situation that just, frankly, is just not comfortable. So I think that's all I have to say, but I really hope that you will at least take this into consideration and see if there's something that can be done.
Yeah, and before Chief goes into it, this has been a thorn in our side, I know, since I've been here, for the past 9 years, and they're zone industrial. We tried everything we could to say you can't have a junkyard here. Unfortunately, the way our industrial zoning and why these mines even zoned anything industrial back then, but they did. You know, when it was done in 1970, I think is when the zoning map was changed around, and for some weird reason, the powers that be back then put almost everything along the railroad tracks as industrial, even in the middle of neighborhoods. I don't know why, but they did. So we tried to nail them on that in terms of you can't have a junkyard here even though it's zoned industrial. Well, if you read the zoning deal, it pretty much says you can almost do anything
Can
short
that
of...
be changed?
What's that?
Can that be changed?
It cannot be changed without the okay of the owner of the property. That being said, you know, we've constantly been issuing tickets over and over and over, down there all the time, and like you said, it's like a shell game with them. They're really good at it, that as soon as we've been down there, they clean it up for a while, and we're out there, handling the crimes and stuff like that, and then we always have to go back because they do the same thing. I know the Secretary of State was involved,
I know that.
and supposedly
We had
that was
hoped
going...
at that point.
Yeah, we were hoping that was going to resolve the issue, but so far, we haven't been able to find that one thing that's going to, or that several things, to either change them dramatically or move them out. So I know Chief has been working on it, I hear about it, and I know you have a few things you want to say as well, but I just want to tell you, we're aware of the problem, we don't like it, we're doing all we can legally to do something about it, because you're right, if you can say one thing about them, they're not good neighbors, they're
No.
terrible neighbors.
Terrible.
And industrial area, that's fine to a degree, but again, we're within spitting distance of a neighborhood.
Well, and the crazy-eyed people that come in there and out at all times of the hours.
Yeah.
That industry is drawing to them, and the people that they surround themselves with, they're very scary-looking people.
But we don't want that there. It's not a good fit. This is the type of thing that if it's going to be anywhere, it should be way out in the county.
Someplace else.
Yeah, somewhere else. But again, we're trying to do everything we can legally. When we've expended a lot of time and money with attorneys trying to get something done legally with them. But Chief, go ahead. We're going to stay on top of it, though. I promise you.
Well, first of all, I would just like to say, one, you're not being a pain at all. And I will speak with you after the meeting and kind of give you a little bit of information on what we have going on down there. The one thing that came out of the court case that you said the Secretary of State is that he did lose his towing license for a short time, so things slowed down a while because he wasn't able to use his towing service, like you mentioned, but he has it back now. So all of a sudden, a huge increase in activity all day and night. But without getting too much into it right now, I will speak with you after this, but we are aware of it, like the mayor said, it is an ongoing problem. There's only so many tickets, kind of like ordinance issues. We can write citations, but it doesn't take care of the problem, because the people that live in that area aren't aware of all the citations we issue. They're just aware that it's not getting cleaned up. So we are trying to take some measure to get to the point, but we are kind of handcuffed in some areas because of the zoning. But I'll speak with you afterwards, and we do have a few things going, but we're fully aware of the entire incidents. I mean, we've been fighting this since I've been here, and that's 20 years.
And we've been trying to work
Right. And
with
you guys
them.
have been great, and please never feel like you're bothering us or you're being a pest. That's what we're paid to do. And we do cover, even though we have an ordinance officer, all of our police officers go down and address code enforcement. And this is more of a police issue anyway, because of just the comments you made, So,
Well, and I don't think that the other neighbors around there, a lot of them probably have the wherewithal to even get the nerve up to come and speak to you to say that they're ruining our quality of life.
yeah. And that's exactly what I said years ago when we looked at this, and we got the Secretary of State involved, and it went further than it ever had, and to the point, but that was, in the end, just kind of a slap on the wrist when we were hoping for a lot more. But I'll speak with you after the
Okay.
meeting, and we'll.
Okay, thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Any other comments from the audience at all? And once again, really, we're aware of it. Our hearts go out to you on this situation, because it's just something that was done, allowed 40-odd years ago, that has had severe impact upon people today. It was a different world. I remember it, 40-odd years ago, where industrial was different than it is today. Cars being torn apart. Back then, it was like something that created jobs, but it's changed, and we really don't need that element there, and we're going to do all we can to change it dramatically or move it on. Okay. No old business tonight, so we're going to go to new business, and first up is the adoption of the fiscal year 2014 through 2015 operations budget, and that will be presented by Trustee Reichert.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a short summary that Administrator Fick prepared for me, and I'll read it and then make the motion. The village is proposing a balanced budget for the 2014-2015 year, with revenues and expenses projected at $3,754,469. It should be noted that despite increases in payroll, health care, risk management, insurance, and overall cost of goods, the village is proposing a budget that is actually $8,583 less than last year. In order to ensure this balanced budget, revenue projections have included a proposed food and beverage tax as well as an infrastructure maintenance fee. However, the village will continue to provide full-time ambulance service as well as free garbage and recycling collections to their residents. The village budget still includes funding for signature events such as the Tower Park Music Festival, which is held in August, as well as the Tower Park Art Festival, and a new event which will be held in the first week of June. The budget also includes funding for the Peoria Heights Chamber of Commerce and money earmarked for the village to develop and implement their own marketing plans. The Waterworks budget is proposing revenues of $894,600 and expenditures of $1,201,873. The primary reason for expenses being over revenues in this year's budget is the planned replacement of a section of water main on Atlantic Avenue, which is projected to cost $200,000. The village has submitted a CDAP grant application which, if successful, would provide 75% of the cost to replace the water main and shrink the waterworks year-end deficit. So I would make a motion that we approve the 2014-2015 operations budget.
Okay, we have a motion from trustee Reichert,
Second.
second from trustee Fuller. Are there any questions or comments from the board before the board votes? Okay, once again, this is for board approval of the 2014 through 2015 operations budget. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Carter? Aye. Trustee Fuller?
Aye.
Trustee Reichert?
Aye.
Trustee Gett?
Aye.
Thank you. By a vote of 4-0, the board has approved the 2014 through 2015 operations budget as presented, which also includes the library budget as well, Marcia, so keep on rocking. All right. Well, the next order of new business tonight concerns wage increases for non-union employees, and that will be presented by trustee Reichert.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to make a motion to approve a 3% cost of living wage increase for all non-union employees effective May 1st, 2014. And this raise is already factored into the 2014-15 operations budget.
Okay, we have a motion from trustee Reichert,
Second.
second from trustee Fuller. Are there any questions or comments from the board before the board votes? Okay, once again, this is for board approval of the 3% wage increase for non-union employees effective May 1st, 2014, as outlined by trustee Reichert. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Carter? Aye. Trustee Fuller?
Aye.
Trustee Reichert?
Aye.
Trustee Gett?
Aye.
Thank you. By a vote of 4-0, the board has approved the 3% wage increase for non-union employees effective May 1st, 2014. Next order of new business tonight is Ordinance 2014-1404. It's a mouthful, so I'm going to, Chief, if you don't mind, can you give us a background on that?
Sure, Mayor. What you have in front of you is ordinance 2014-1404, and what this is, it's an ordinance providing an establishment of uniform and updated schedule of penalties for the violation of various ordinance effective within the village of Peoria Heights. This is the same thing we discussed at the committee meeting. If you remember, it's we're updating all of our fines as far as settlement costs on a handful of fines, and I can go through them if you'd like, if you don't remember. But if you remember, that's great. Okay. And the other, everything is obviously outlined in the ordinance. So if there are any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them, but it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, and, obviously, we went over it in departmental, and
And it's correct, and we have not raised our fines for years. So what this will do is a little bit, get us closer to the surrounding communities as far as fine schedule.
our overtime parking fee remains.
The parking, we didn't do anything with the parking, and I just went through this, and I don't think, and we also did not touch the administrative tow fee. So
Okay.
this is just for every other fine that we implement, and settlement costs. So the only thing we did leave out were in parking and the administrative tow fee. So, and that could be at a later date as far as the tow fee. I think we were all in agreement that the parking should just stay where it's at.
Right.
Because we're reactive on that anyway. So the administrative tow fee would be the only thing that down the road if we wanted to raise that. So, and some agencies have already done that.
Okay. And we can have our administrative secretary put this up online as well, so people can, it's a 4-page ordinance, so, thank you, Chief. Need a motion for approval, please?
I move to approve ordinance 2014-1404.
Have a motion from trustee Reichert,
Second.
second from trustee Carter. Are there any questions or comments from the board before the board votes? Okay, once again, this is for board approval of the Village of Peoria Heights Ordinance Number 2014-1404, as outlined by Chief Sutton. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Carter?
Aye.
Trustee Fuller?
Aye.
Trustee Reichert?
Aye.
Trustee Gett?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. By a vote of 4-0, the board has approved Ordinance 2014-1404 for the changes in the penalties for the violation of various ordinances as outlined by Chief Sutton, and we will put put this online. We will also have a copy here at Village Hall for anybody who cares to come by and take a look at it. And next up, of new business tonight is ordinance 2014-1405. It's an ordinance authorizing the conveyance of certain real estate within the Village of Peoria Heights, and that will be presented by Trustee Reichert.
Thank you, Mayor. Last year, U.S. Bank donated the property at 1216 East Samuel to the Village of Peoria Heights under the condition the village would find someone to either make repairs to the house or demolish it and construct a new one. Following a thorough inspection of the property by the village building inspector, it was determined that it would be in the best interest of the village to have the house demolished and a new single-family residence constructed on the site. Ordinance 2014-1405 authorizes the village to convey 1216 East Samuel to Mr. Tim Callahan, owner of Callahan Construction, subject to the following conditions. Number one, the house and any other structures shall be demolished within 30 days of possession at the sole expense of Mr. Callahan. Number two, within 1 year of the date of delivery of the quitclaim deed and possession of the premises, Mr. Callahan, at his sole expense, shall construct a one-floor house of approximately 1,300 square feet, consisting of 2 bedrooms and 1 bath and an attached 2.5-stall garage. The real estate is proposed to be conveyed to Mr. Callahan at no cost. However, he will be responsible for covering all of the closing costs as well as the cost of demolition and new construction as previously mentioned. I would make a motion that we approve ordinance 2014-1405, which would give Mr. Callahan this property so he can develop it.
We have a motion from Trustee Reichert,
Second.
second from Trustee Gett. Are there any questions or comments from the board before the board votes?
What about, you talked about renting, not renting, or what are we doing on that part of it?
Yeah, from what Administrator Fick, I think what he explained was that there really was no way that we could,
Stop that.
create a clause for that because it's being built, I think, with the plans to sell, but it's also going to be, we don't want to tie a developer's hands in case it doesn't sell. We can't expect him to sit on it for months on end, but it's going to be a higher-end, brand-new piece of property. It's a single-family dwelling. That's the most important thing. So particularly compared to what we have over there now, it'll certainly be a huge step up. So I think Village can be okay with that, I hope. Any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, once again, this is for board approval of ordinance 2014.